How Do I Live, the 18th episode, focused on what happened after Joe, Camilla Luddington, and Link, Chris Carmack, got married. After Jenna, Piper Perabo, the mother of Amelia's, Katerina Skorson, Little Patient, locked her, Simone, Alexis Floyd, and Lucas, Nico Toho, in an operating room and made her perform surgery on her daughter while threatening to blow it up with a gas tank. Tensions skyrocketed. Meredith, Ellen Pompeo, who was on the property with the goal of selling off her hospital stock to finance her expanding Alzheimer's research, became aware of the hostage situation. As is customary with Meredith, she found herself in the operating room and assisted in diffusing the situation so that her family and co-workers could be safely evacuated. Additionally, just as police entered to take her into custody, Jenna disclosed that the gas tank had been empty from the beginning and that Amelia had successfully operated on the child. Meredith then made the decision to spend the summer working as a general physician in Seattle rather than selling her shares. Before Jenna's husband disclosed that the gas tank was full and may blow up at any moment, everything appeared to be getting back to normal. As Jules, Adelaide Kane, Monica, Natalie Morales, and Bailey, Chandra Wilson, prepare to perform procedures, we last see Lucas sprinting toward the floor to alert everyone. Before we see Meredith leaving the hospital, we see Link, who had just discovered that Joe's twins were girls, working on a surgery of his own. This is immediately before the gas tank explodes, leaving a hole in the hospital that fans will be thinking about for the rest of the summer. We enjoy hurling stuff at the wall and endangering everyone. Regarding the cliffhanger, showrunner Meg Marinis told The Wrap, "It's really fun and torturous to the fans." This explosion will undoubtedly have repercussions, but who will suffer them and how will be decided when everyone watches this fall. Aside from the catastrophe, the episode gave us a lot of love drama to witness in Season 22. Teddy, Kim Raver, made the decision to leave Owen, at least for the time being, after taking Nora's, Floriana Lima, medical history. Ben, Jason George, made one last spectacular save on what would have been his last day after learning earlier in the day that Teddy would not advise him to continue with the surgical program. Who knows what will happen to him next season though, as we last saw him sprinting toward the building following the explosion. In the case of the interns who became residents, Jules approached Winston, played by Anthony Hill, about his decision to terminate her employment. She chastised him for allowing his crush on her to interfere with her education, even if Marinis hinted that more of it will be covered in the upcoming season. Simone and Lucas were intent on resuming their relationship after surviving the hostage scenario, but that was before Simone discovered that her previous hookup was one of the incoming intern class, played by a charming Trevor Jackson. The Wrap. This reminded me of one of those big Grey's episodes where actual danger is present and the stakes are great. What led to this season's heated conclusion? Meg Marinis. Coming up with another one of those episodes is always a dream for someone who helped run the program. Everyone recalls such event-like episodes, including the shooting, the plane disaster, and the episode with the bomb in the body cavity. We're fans too. We must be able to say, okay, we haven't done it in a while, let's do it, but we can't do those often because then they wouldn't feel as iconic and exceptional. The idea of a hostage-like scenario has been circling the writer's room for a few years. We also made the decision to pair that with the cases Amelia was taking on that were impossible. We also wanted it to seem really impromptu. Since we didn't want this woman to feel like a criminal, this wasn't a planned action. We wanted her actions to be motivated by her intense emotions, her grief, and her concern for her dying little baby, even if they are horrible. In this episode, Piper gave a fantastic performance. We wanted us to feel ill when the cops arrived to take her into custody. You're thrilled that our doctors are doing well and that the young girl might be all right. However, I wanted witnessing that woman being arrested to feel tragic. Despite being a villain, there is a complex emotional dynamic at play. I didn't want a gun either. It reminded me too much of the shooting incident. Furthermore, I simply don't enjoy seeing it on TV in a show that isn't broadcast frequently. We don't know is what I mean when I say that. You guys don't know really. Of course, the entire hospital was not destroyed by the gas tank. However, it did cause a hole to blast in the hospital side. There was a huge explosion. There will undoubtedly be repercussions from this explosion, only who will suffer and how will be known when everyone watches this fall. In order to finance her research, Meredith returned to the episode with plans to sell her hospital stock. However, after becoming embroiled in the hostage scenario, she makes the decision to prolong her stay at Grey Sloan. What does this signify for season 22 of Ellen and Meredith? Since the plot of her Alzheimer's research is central to the show, we're still very interested in it. This is especially true given where we took it this year, where we discussed the disparity between research on male and female test subjects who receives research funding and where it goes. In addition, I missed watching her in the operating room and interacting with patients and their families, which was particularly evident following the Lena Waithe plot and the conclusion. We'll talk more about that later. Those exchanges encourage and inspire Meredith to continue her research. We have a fantastic class of residents who we care about, and Mer is the one who selected them. I miss watching her teach. I'm hoping to see her participate in future events of that such. After that, we'll stay in touch with Boston a few times and, ideally, help her and Nick maintain their wonderful connection. After a turbulent few years, Teddy appears to leave the marriage after declaring she is officially done with Owen before to the explosion and after making medical history. Will that carousel continue to turn next season, or are they officially finished? When you have kids between you, it's difficult to get anything done in a formal way. However, I believe that after perhaps some time apart, we are eager to rediscover those characters. We saw in the conclusion that there is a great deal of dread to be able to leave a marriage like this. They have children together, she is his boss, which is difficult, and they have experienced war together. They'd probably never imagined that they wouldn't be able to navigate these turbulent waters. However, I believe she thought, I'm going to be okay, when she realized she could do the impossible surgery on Nora. I believe I could accomplish this as well. We will therefore see how that departs from them, and more specifically, how the explosion alters that dynamic. There is a great deal of suffering to discover. Despite their tragedy and breakup at the end of the season, Simone and Lucas appear open to trying their love again. Until Simone discovers that the new intern she slept with the previous evening is played by Trevor Jackson. Given that Lucas was rushing toward the explosion, how does it position the plot for the upcoming season? That is most likely the top priority. Where was Lucas at the time of the explosion? That is the first thread that needs to be picked up. Trevor Jackson is amazing. In 17 and 18, he didn't have a lot to do, but what he did accomplish was excellent. When Simone sees him enter the changing room, she gets that priceless expression on her face. Even worse is the haughtiness with which he replies. He is obviously not a fearful intern. I don't think he gives a damn about the commotion he's generated. He's going here to play and is prepared. I don't think he will run away from any disaster since he feels like he deserves to be here. Without a doubt, we will see him again. We'll start working on the plot in a week, as we'll be returning to the writer's room then. However, the nice thing about this event is that things are always subject to change. People go and then return. What about a 22-season program? We adore who comes every day, and there is a large pool of people who can come visit. It's good to bring them back for episodes. This season, you had to balance a lot of storylines, but it seemed like everyone had an opportunity to shine both inside and outside the operating room. In season 22, which character are you most eager to learn more about? I'm so excited for them all that I can't choose just one of my characters. They're all fantastic. The outcome of this explosion and the people who were physically and immediately affected will determine everything, in my opinion. Another thing that interests me is that the hospital has a large hole that was obviously caused by the operating room floor. Since surgery plays such a significant role in our daily lives at this hospital, I'm curious to see the results. How the hospital keeps running despite the hole in it. Will there be a time leap, or will we go back to the immediate aftermath of the finale? We're still negotiating. We will be able to observe what transpired immediately after, regardless of how we go.